Scalpel. Thank you. Hope I get this right. I haven't slept in days. Oh no! Oh no!
I heard you can throw the football really well, Commish.
I can throw the football just as well as I like my rubs. Watch this. What? Objection, Your Honor. He's badgering the witness.
Sustained.
All right, so just finish off this next line of billion lines of code, and I'll have those guys betting all their money. There's no way they're gonna win at fantasy anymore. All this, betting. Anyways, I'm gonna call my bro. I gotta see what's happening. Hello? Hey bro, what's poppin'? Dak still making you wet dream? Baby, it's all good, bro. Oh, I got mustard on my favorite shirt. You know what, bro? I don't even know who to set up all this week in my lineup. Well, if you go this linebacker from Washington, they're paying a run-first offense, so that linebacker is guaranteed to get a bunch of volume, and that's how you will win this one. You the best, man. How the hell do you know all this? You see any women around, bro? Good point, my brother. Good point. You know what? Thanks for all you did for this. There's no way I could ever win without you. I know this. Hey everyone, guess who's back? It's the Commish. Back here with another draft preview. This time we got Kalen and the Mothertucker making it up to tier 1 from tier 3, tier 2. He's done his time, he's done his years. But I'm going to be honest with you, Kalen. I think that honestly you picked the worst team that you could have been eligible for in the LOC. Well, I should rephrase, not like worst team could be tough, just worst scenario is what I think you picked. And I am starting with the grace year owners first. So, of course, it is a grace year for you. But you'll see the theme coming up here in some of the storylines. I think it's going to be a big survival year for you. So I'm just going to share my screen and we'll get right into it. So we got Kalen and the Mothertucker. And what about the Mothertucker? Hey, fits with that preview. Deshaun Watson, he for some odd reason, he's not getting as much criticism as Deshaun did, which is kind of interesting, to be honest with you. But anyways, we'll just move forward. So looking at your keepers, here's another team with the quarterback that is dual threat, but probably the best quarterback in fantasy, right? We got Lamar Jackson with the Baltimore Ravens, by far the guy you want in fantasy at quarterback. This is a league that if you have quality keepers, you can definitely win some games, right? It is close to a dynasty league where your best keepers are likely going to win you games, right? It's no different than any other league. And Lamar is the pinnacle. And I think that's what attracted you to this team. Maybe also was AJ Brown, right? Like so far in all the fantasy channels that I've been reading, people expect AJ Brown to have a monster year. It'll be interesting to see if he does. He's been paid. He's won a Super Bowl now. What's the motivation now left for a guy like AJ Brown? Unless he just wants to be a Hall of Famer now at this point. Looking at your running back scenario, two iffy running backs, if you ask me. Joe Mixon, why is he iffy? Well, the injury problems. I heard he's already kind of injured already in the offseason. And then you add Nick Chubb to the model in Houston. So I do think it's going to be more of a bit of a timeshare there, unless Nick Chubb's knee is completely obliterated. But you got to think with the competition there, there's a reason why they brought in the competition. And then C-Mac, again, another guy that's had injury concerns. Let's face it, 2 years ago, he was the guy to own, right? Last year it was Saquon. This year, what I'm reading in the offseason is so far CMAC looks kind of slow, right? Let's face it, all the wear and tear has probably hurt CMAC and his production, but I think you obviously have to keep CMAC, right? And I think it's just one of those boomer busts. And then this is where I'm going to criticize you big time. You have Tank Dell as a keeper. I don't think this guy's playing this year, maybe not even next year. I don't know if you saw the injury. And when I look at the rest of your lineup, I think you could keep a guy like D Hop. I know he's old as dirt, but I have been hearing he's having a good off season in Baltimore. Not only that, it would set up a double dip scenario with you and Lamar, right? So Lamar throws the touchdown to D Hop, you get the double dip. And then I'm also going to criticize you on your IDP keeper. So you got Kyle Hamilton as your keeper. Don't get me wrong, Kyle Hamilton's a great DB, but you have Olakun there, who's a tackling machine for Jacksonville and is always near the top for linebacking points. That would be a huge mistake, I think, if you don't keep him. You also have Nick Bosa as well. Great DL that could get you the sacks. The only issue with Nick Bosa lately has been the injuries, but I think you keeping Hamilton over Olakun is a huge mistake. I would almost keep Olakun over Tank Dell and go two IDPs if you didn't want to keep D Hop. That's what I would do personally. Or you just trade for a better keeper. I mean, usually at this point in the off season, things are fairly cheap in terms of moving or grabbing a fringe player that could be a better keeper, obviously, than Tank Dell. But if you go into the season with Tank Dell as a keeper, I don't think you'll stick around. And part of the reason is looking at your pick scenario. Well, first off, the good news is, yeah, you do have third pick overall. So you are going to nail a high quality rookie at third pick overall. There's no doubt about it. You're going to get a game changer, and you need to get a game changer that's going to have first year production. That's going to be important. But when we look at your first round to 10, the prior owner, here's the thing: 2 years ago, the prior owner of this team was our and somehow he all of a sudden got good, and we know why, right? And that's part of the intro preview. But last year he was terrible, and clearly the help wasn't there anymore from the supposed fantasy football guru, who obviously makes a lot of money every year. Uh, but I mean, he traded those last five rounders in your first 10. So that put you in a difficult scenario. And this is why I think you picked the worst scenario that was available. Yeah, Lamar was there. Yeah, AJ Brown's there. But the pick scenario is atrocious. And I think it is going to create challenges for you. When you look at your middle rounds, the good news is, you do have a fair amount of middle round picks. You just got no pick in round 14, but there's three extra picks there in the last three rounds of the rounds 11 to 20. This is where we're typically picking our depth players as well as our IDPs. So looking at Stewart, who we just previewed, who's also on a grace year, he had more picks in rounds 1 to 10, which is clearly what you want. Rounds 11 to 20, he was a week where you're a little bit stronger. So you're going to have to really rely on your knowledge and picking the right players or the right opportunities in those rounds if you're going to compete even with someone like Stewart, I feel. And then looking at rounds 21 to 29, well, you got a fair amount of picks there, right? You got three extra picks in those last 9 rounds. Not the ideal situation you want to be in. Like I say, the prior owner did kind of bust this team up and really did not have a great year. The only part that they actually started to do well in was in the consolation playoffs to get the third pick. And then, looking at your likely first pick, Kalen, I think you have to go running back. And I think you have to go running back just because of the rookie running backs that are available there. I have projected pick for you being either Travion Henderson, maybe a guy like O'Marion Hampton, or maybe it's a guy like Travis Hunter. And again, I am going based on the sleeper rankings. Maybe these aren't the guys you would pick, but that's who I see kind of available in that third hole. And then the storylines for you, well, again, you're in a grace year. I think it's a big survival year for you, right? You might even have to pay trade picks late in the year at the deadline to try to survive. I do feel that you're a team that has the best chance to drop. I know there's other teams that we have to preview, and I haven't really looked at all the teams yet. But when I think about the teams that were available last year, this was one team that I thought was likely going to drop, right? So you're going to have to use all your skills and abilities and your knowledge to try to stay up. And then I do feel the other storyline for you, you have to change your keepers, right? Either you do that through a trade, you add Olakun, or you add a guy like D Hop at least, who's going to get you, even if he gets you 3 points, it's more than what Tank Dell's going to get you, right? And if this was Dynasty, yeah, maybe you could hang on to a guy like Tank Dell, but I just, you can't, you can't have a guy like Tank Dell in a league like this, a keeper that's going to get you 0 points this year. It's just not going to get the job done for you, Kalen. So, from my perspective, I do I think you have the abilities to survive? Absolutely. Like it all depends on how the schedule works out. You are in a tough division where you have original owners that's been in that division for a number of years. And I do think that that puts you obviously in a precarious position this year. You finally made it up to tier one. Your brother's in tier two, and you want to avoid going right back to tier two. Although your brother could go right back to tier three, just so you know. So, anyways, I just want to say, Kalen, I really appreciate you being committed to this league. I love having you here, and I just want to wish you the best of luck, bro.